am at the moment. There you go. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Friday. Oh, Friday at the end of May. It's nearly June. It's ridiculous. But the garden is looking wonderful now. Flowers and the dog. Let's just tuck the dog in. Happy? Do these things. Right. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Friday. Good morning, Ruby. Good morning, good evening. Oh dear. Good evening, Sephora. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Diane. Thank you, Tina. Grandma, nanny, grandnan. Yes. Grandma or granny, something around that area. We're thinking. We'll see. Yeah. Might end up being called something completely different, but that's where we're heading for. Good morning, Heather. What are you doing over there? Get on here. There's no good lurking behind the scenes. Good morning, Jane. Thank you. Yes, apologies for not being here last week. Our first grandbaby.
What happened then? Tell us. Did something happen?
First grandbaby arrived into the world 5 weeks early.
All a bit of a rush.
All a bit of a rush, yeah. All a bit of chaos and actually quite terrifying. She came out of the incubator yesterday. She's obviously been in hospital since. Came out of the incubator yesterday and went into a cot, but she's still in hospital, but she's doing brilliantly. So, yeah, she's good. She's good. Little Dot. A little pixie. Yeah, come on, Heather. Let's all chant for Heather. Good morning, Sue, from sunny Sunderland. It's kind of grey here today, but the garden is blooming, so it's all lovely.
Blooming lovely.
Blooming lovely, yes. Good afternoon, Lucky Fairy Queen. Good morning, Emma. Thank you very much. Yes, baby's doing brilliantly. And the parents are dealing with it absolutely phenomenally. Not being able to stay in the hospital with a little baby. They are staying with us, so we are looking after them, which is cool. But everyone's doing brilliantly. Yeah, I think grandbaby's going to be a little bit of a minx. Thank you, Lucky Fairy Queen. Thank you. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Kerry. Thank you. Yeah, cloudy Llanelli. Yes, it is cloudy down here in the south as well. Good morning, David. How do you address us? We've already got a Nana. My mum is Nana, so I'm either granny or grandma, somewhere around there. And Pete is granddad, definitely a granddad. So yeah, we'll see. It's very bizarre, very bizarre. Good morning, Cliff, from a caravan in not so sunny Selsey. Thank you. Oh, I hope you're having a nice break. The sun will come out later. I'm sure it will. Sephora, so which deity is this child going to attach to? I know she's got the look of Pixie about her at the minute. She's going to be a feisty bum. Jane, if your granddaughter's a minx, she must learn minxcraft. Oh, I think she's already there. Definitely an old soul. Thank you, everyone. Yes, so apologies for not being here last week, but it's all been a bit chaotic and twirly. Good morning, Karen. Good morning.
Today's subject then, granddaughters, isn't it?
No, today's subject is deity connection. Which is what it's all about. Yes, so I was kind of, it's a question I get asked a lot. How do I connect with deity? So that's kind of the subject for today. How do you connect with deity? Do you connect with deity? How do you work with deity? And I say work. How do you feel about the word worship? Do you worship deity? I struggle with that term, I must admit, but we can talk about that. How do you work? How do you connect? Do you? That's kind of the subject for today. Good morning, Steve. Thank you, thank you. Good morning, Louise. Granny Weatherwax, yes. Oh, she is my heroine. Yes, I would. When I grow up, I want to be Granny Weatherwax. Although apparently I look grown up today. Pete thinks I look grown up today. I don't feel very grown up, I must admit. Good morning, Christine. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, grandbaby is wonderful, and the kids are doing amazingly. So let's get some of these up. Brilliant subject day. I have immense trouble trying to connect with Deity. Okay, let's deal with that first then. How does everyone connect with Deity? It's an interesting one. I guess it depends on how you see Deity. How do you see Deity? I think Zephora's put a comment there. Yeah, which kind of, I connect with nature, but I don't think that's Deity, is it? Well, I guess it is in some way. I guess it depends on whether you do actually work with Deity. For me, the goddess is in all of it, in nature as well. But not everyone works with the god and the goddess. Not everyone some work with just the goddess. Some work with Mother Earth, Father Sky. Some folk don't work with anything like that. So I think it depends what you believe in first. But connecting with them, when we teach about connecting with Deity at the school, we work a lot with meditation. Good old meditation is the answer to everything. And I think it is. I think you can connect with the goddess when you are out in nature. You can connect with the goddess when you are working with animals. You can connect with the goddess because she is in all things. But if you're looking to connect with a specific deity, then I think meditation is a very good point. Do you choose? That's the question. The deities that have come to me, I haven't chosen. They have found their way to me and made themselves known. Generally, that has been, who have we got? So the Kalech, I was reading a book and her name popped up right throughout the book. I'd never heard of her before. It was a fiction book, witchy fiction book. And that kind of sparked the interest. And then I kept seeing her name. Ganesha. I kept seeing elephants, kept seeing images of elephants on the television. And I realized something was trying to get my attention. Thought it might be an elephant spirit animal. It wasn't. It was Ganesha. And I discovered that by meditating, and he appeared. Sulis found me because I was visiting Bath and I felt the energy and I felt the presence. And as soon as I walked into the Roman baths and found her temple there, that was it. I knew who was trying to get my attention. But I've done meditations before. We did the Ark of the Goddess course and the book there that takes you on monthly meditations to meet different goddesses. And I've worked with whoever came to me. I think a big part of it is respect. And a big part of it is relationships. It is building a relationship. You can't just call on a god or a goddess and expect them to rock up because you want them to. That's not how it works. I think most of the time they find you, and if they find you, it's for a reason. You need their help, you need their assistance. They might be with you just for a message. They might be with you for a short while. They might be with you for a lifetime. The Kalech's been with me for many, many, many years. Balanos and Sulis have been with me for a number of years, so has Ganesha. Other deities have been with me for short whiles. When I was writing the hoodoo book, Papa Legba was with me, sitting in the corner laughing at me, generally most of the time. So there are different relationships, different types of working with deity. But I do think meditation is the beginning point. If you're open to whoever you want, whoever's out there, then just do an open meditation, just a general meditation with the point of meeting a deity. If you are looking to call upon a specific deity, then I think you have to put a bit of work into it. You have to put a bit of research into it. So if you wanted to meet a deity that was Greek, perhaps, then set the landscape. Do some research on the landscape, the culture of Greece, and set your meditation in that picture. and specific characteristics as well of the deities. If you want to meet a specific deity, do your homework. Once you have met a deity and they've made themselves known, do your homework. Part of it is respect, but part of it is knowing who you're working with. So I think there's quite a lot of effort here, but there's a lot of effort required for any type of relationship. So you have to put that effort in, I think. Making an altar to them is a good idea as well. It shows that you are dedicated. It shows that you are committed to putting in the time and the effort in. Offerings are good for them as well. It's all the basic stuff, really. They'll connect with you if they want to. If they don't, then they're not going to rock up. So it is a bit hit and miss sometimes. So let's go back to some of these. Right. Emma, struggle with the term worship. Yes, I do. I've always said work with. Not sure why. It just feels better to say work with. There's a brilliant book by Jane Meredith called Aspecting the Goddess. And I like that phrase, aspecting the goddess. It describes what we do. For me, it's not worship. It's not curtsying, bowing, kind of thing. It is a relationship that you build with them. They help you, they support you. You use them for, use is the wrong term, isn't it? That you work with them, you rely on them for guidance and support. But there's always, like anything, there's that checks and balances. You can't keep asking them for things. You can't keep asking them to support you. You can't keep asking them for guidance without giving something in return. It might be offerings. It might be your time doing something. There will be a payment. There will be an exchange of energy for it. It is a relationship which requires that you both put effort into it. Worship. To me, that doesn't work. Lucky Fairy Queen, love this subject. Connecting with deities is one of my favourite daily practices. I'm not sure where I would be without them, really. I must admit, in this past couple of weeks, I've called upon the goddess a lot. I have made lots of offerings to provide support and to keep grandbaby safe. So, without that faith and that structure, would have struggled more than I did. So I think, it is. I couldn't be without that faith, that belief, for sure. Hiding behind the scenes, yeah. The meditation to begin with, then it's just chatting them, keeping the relationship fresh with communication. Yes, communication is the good word. That is what you need to do, isn't it? I think you can't call upon them and ask them to do stuff and then not speak to them for weeks. That's just rude. Good morning, Monique. Karen, usually connect with deity via meditation. Yeah, it is the good old base, isn't it? But sometimes just staring at an altar dedicated to them depends on the deity and the reason, I suppose. Altars are good. I like the focal point of the altar. I mean, I've got outside a Sulis altar behind me with Sulis and Balanus. Lots of sun things that the girls have made for me. That's my focal point for her. The Kalech I usually have throughout the winter, and I'll have Sulis and Blanos during the summer. I've got Ganesha up here as well. And if you can just see there's a little altar for Winnie as well to keep her safe. But it's a focal point. Altars are a small sacred space. They are your focal point. And I think just lighting a candle on the altar and just spending a few minutes sitting there focusing on the candle is a brilliant way of connecting with deity, just kind of showing that you've taken a couple of minutes out of your day to connect with them, time for them. Jane, when it comes to animals, I tend to connect with St. Francis of Assisi. I know I'm no longer a Catholic, but he's a top bloke. I think we underestimate saints. They do, for me, play a part. A lot of them were based on pagan deities. So yeah, no, don't discount it. Absolutely. Christine, Father Sun and Mother Moon for me. I show all gratitude to them and I ask them to help me. Do sometimes meditate to both. Then again, I do like to work with goddesses, and sometimes when I need strength, it's animal guide or a god at that moment I feel right for me. Yes, I think it is very, very personal, isn't it? It is very personal. But I think, Father Sun, Mother Moon, I work with those energies too. That works for me. But yeah, it is a very personal thing. David, Deity are a tricky bunch. Yeah. Well, you're dealing with personalities, aren't you? Really. And you don't get on with all people, so you're not going to get on with all the gods either. They either turn up on your doorstep and come in, or you can reach out and they might answer you, but you can never force them to take an interest. You cannot command or summon them. A bit like dragons. You cannot command or summon them. That is not going to work. In fact, it's probably just going to pee them off. So yeah, no summoning, no commanding, definitely not. It's respect. Definitely about respect. Diane, Ark of the Goddess course was a fabulous experience. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes, we wrote that because we wanted to work with it. We couldn't find a course we wanted, so we wrote one. Good morning, Xenia. Good morning, Jalala. Emma, first deity that truly connected me was Herne Hunter. After that, it was the strong presence of the Morrigan. Both very strong, powerful deities. The Morrigan is definitely a feisty one. I've not actually worked with the Morrigan. Heather does. Not one that I've ever worked with. It's interesting that when I first started on this journey, a million years ago, it was just a general idea for me of the goddess. But roll forward to the first home computer with the internet, which was enormous machine, very clunky. Probably my phone has more power than that 100 times over. But anyway, and I did an online course, and one of the first things they asked me to do was to choose a pantheon. And I was lost. Like, which pantheon do I choose? I went for Celtic, which is obviously a bit of a loose term anyway, because I live in England, and it kind of made sense to work with deities that live with the land, connected with the land that I live on. So I did, and I kind of picked, I worked with Rhiannon for a bit. I worked with Bolanos then actually for a bit. Merlin made a bit of an appearance. But it was a bit forced because I was asked to choose that pantheon, and then I had to select goddesses to work with. I use the term gods as a kind of collect all for all energies. It was a bit forced because I was pushed into choosing deities to work with, and I don't think it ever really worked. And from that point, I kind of was just open to whoever came my way. And I have worked with quite a lot of different deities for short periods of time. A few Greek, Roman, Hindu, even a Loa or two, an Orisha. I've never really worked with anyone from the Egyptian pantheon, purely because they've never come my way. And I think that's important, to be open to whoever comes your way and to not dismiss, or just, they'll be there for a reason. But Egyptians, no, not worked with them. Don't know why, just never come my way. These days do tend to be more focused on the English deities, just because that suits how my practice is now. But still work with Ganesha. So, just be open, I think, is an important part of it. Lucky Fairy Queen. Usually meditate, burn candles, offer flowers. Yes, fresh flowers from the garden. It's nice. Occasionally offering wine as well. Yes, definitely. Sulis likes a bit of wine. very connected to goddesses Freya, Hecate, and Lakshmi. Nice. It's interesting connection there. Different pantheons. That's another thing, isn't it? When I first started out, it was a bit taboo to work with deities from different pantheons, mixing them up. I have found that some of them will tolerate each other. The Kalak's a bit iffy with most, but she does tolerate Sulis. Think about who you're working with. You might have to test the waters. Some of them may argue with each other, but I have found that you can mix and match. It's just about getting that kind of balance with it. I did bring, getting my left and right wrong, bought the Sulis image home that the lovely Susie painted for me, put it on the side on the Kalak's altar, just because, put it somewhere safe. The following day it was on the floor. I have my suspicions that the Kalak shoved her off the shelf. I'm not pointing any fingers, I'm just saying that she was on the floor the next day. So just be mindful that some of the stronger personalities might clash with each other. But you can definitely work with mix and match with the pantheons. Again, it's about being respectful and about knowing who you're working with, about doing your research, read the stories, read the myths. I like to look at the foods, obviously, from that culture as well. Quite often I will make a loose incense blend to help connect with the deity, because that's me taking time and effort working with plants with the intent of offering to that deity. I mean, for Ganesha, it's the smell of the incense is lovely because all the Indian spices, the cardamom, the cloves, the cinnamon, brilliant, works. Yeah. With Sulis, it's all the sunshiny stuff. Anything that's got a bit of heat, a bit of solar power to it. So it's about tailoring it as well. But I find making loose incense is quite good for burning and for offering as well. Jane. Jane, love Luna. Always said goodnight to her before I go to sleep. Yes, definitely. It does make sense to connect with our planet and the luminaries that work with it. So it's Gaia, Luna, and Sol for this witch. Nice. A mixture again too of pantheons. Interesting. Diane works with Morrigan too then. She is a powerful one, definitely a powerful one. Good morning, Jackie. David, my relationship with the Kailak is more like parental. That's because you need looking after. You need supervision. She's always been there when I need to talk to someone. Yes. Though it's usually a kick me up the bum. Yes, that's her, isn't it? But always she's been a caring mother under it all, with which some will find weird reading about her, and she's going to make me regret saying that now, yeah. She's a crone, definitely a crone. In all my research with her, she's always a crone. But she has a very strong maternal instinct, for sure. Yes, she has been incredibly supportive of me. Yeah, a kick up the bum when I've made big mistakes or not done something. But yes, I understand that completely. Lucky Fairy Queen. Always been attracted to the book Aspecting the Goddess. Is it a good one? Yes. Jane Meredith writes fantastic books. Aspecting the Goddess, very, very good. Balanced relationships. Yeah, it is. Like you would work with any friendship or any romantic relationship or marriage or whatever it might be, working with a deity is just the same. It is about building that trust. It is about building that connection. It is about honoring them, but it is also about that give and take, definitely. Jane, worship is a dodgy word. Hard to scrub away the Christian dogma about worshipping false gods and brazen images. I think it is. It does have connotations, doesn't it? It does have that idea that you are bowing down to something, which to me, that's not how I work with the goddess, with the god, whoever it might be. No, that's not how I work either. But again, it has to be personal. Good morning, Debbie. Jalala. When you're with a bunch of people and they're all speaking another language and you're just stood there looking on and smiling but not feeling part of the conversation? Yes, that is how it is when I hear people talking about deities. Okay, just don't relate to any of them really, but that is a loss for me. No, I don't think it is. I don't think about it like that, because everyone works with things differently. Witches aren't all pagans. My faith, my religion is paganism, and I do work with deities, but that doesn't mean it's right for everyone. As I said earlier, some folk will just work with Father Sun, Mother Moon, or Mother Earth, Father Sky, or just energy, or just spirit of nature. There's absolutely no right or wrong here. And it also depends how you look at deity and what deity means to you. My kind of idea of deity is, in the beginning, once upon a time, in the beginning, there was something, an energy, a being, a spirit, male, female, neither, both. And that kind of transmitted down to the planet, or up to the planet, depending on which way you look at it. And each culture then interpreted it in their own way. So it's actually all the same. All of the faiths believe in the same divine. It's just interpreted in different ways. That's how I see it anyway. And then the goddess, for me, is a big diamond with lots of facets. So the whole thing is the goddess in her, him, in whatever format. And each facet is the face of a different deity. But they're all individual. They all have their own characteristics, their own personalities, but they're all part of the one, if that makes sense. But that can absolutely be translated as just the spirit of nature. So no, it's not lost, July. I think it's just different. It's how you work with it, and everyone will see things differently. It's just a different perspective, I think. Xenia, because I'm still healing from my surgery and watched a bit Christian things and TV again, also read the book Jesus Through Pagan Eyes, I asked Jesus to heal my wounds. Now I have two bearded blokes beside my bed, Loki and Jesus. I think, I do believe that Jesus walked the earth. I think he was probably more type of, for me, I've got the idea that he's more of a druid type. I think he was a healer for sure. I think he was excellent public speaker. I think it's interesting to look at the different faiths. There are so many crossovers with all of the cultures, with all of the faiths. Well, even the gods and goddesses, like I say, different facets, but there will be similar gods. So there is a bye, have a good day. Give Winnie a hug. We're not allowed to touch her yet. Only Emma and Vaughan allowed to touch her. Anyway, I think about goddesses and gods throughout the different pantheons. There's usually similar ones. So there will be a goddess of love in all of the pantheons. The Kalach, blue-skinned, crone, partial to skulls and bones. Kali Ma in the Hindu. Partial to skulls and bones, death and rebirth, blue-skinned. There will be similarities throughout it all. And I don't, Christianity is no different. I have known Christian witches. So they work with Jesus, with Mary, as gods and goddesses, deity, divine. It's different way of interpreting it, I think. Good morning, Angela. Jane, the word worship tends to conjure up a feeling of subservience and grovelling for me. It does. As soon as I hear the word, I think bowing down. which I'm not going to do to anybody. Don't think our pagan deities would expect that sort of relationship. No, that's a very good point, Jane, isn't it? I don't think they would want us to do that either. Although, having said that, Sulis is the only goddess that I've ever felt the need to say "milady" to. There's just, I don't know, it just feels like the right thing to do, and she seems quite impressed with it. But they wouldn't rule with fear like the church does, and they'd help us and certainly not threaten us with hellfire and brimstone if we transgress. Do you not think, though, that is the interpretations, that is the humans that are doing that, not the Christian divine? It's the humans that do those threats. Interesting. Karen, sometimes you just feel them on the wind, and when they recognise that, it really opens the door. Yes, I think that is the idea, isn't it? That the goddess, the divine, is in all of nature. Absolutely. Xenia, I also ask the Almighty God because I feel in need for someone almighty at the moment. Choir of beautiful female voices answered me and spoke in plural of themselves. Also, all deities are part of them. Feels accurate. It's got to work for you. It has absolutely got to work for you and how you see it and how you work with it, for sure. Tina, love Isis and Bastet. I think they're fascinating. I think the whole Egyptian mythology and history is fascinating. They just never presented themselves to me. But, always open. Christine, my first introduction to Pan was in a meditation session, and it was a saucy meditation, if that makes sense, with Pan, absolutely. I'd never worked with Pan, but I loved to meet him in that circumstance. I do remember many years ago listening to someone talking about they'd felt a presence. They were in the shower and they'd felt a presence and they thought it was Pan, but it was okay because, although they were in the shower, they didn't feel uncomfortable and he wasn't looking. That wasn't Pan then. Definitely not. Pan is, he is that passion in nature, isn't he? He is the frolicking and all of the other stuff. Definitely. Because they all have their own different personalities, don't they? They all have those different characteristics. Dawny, love to connect with, never sure how to say her name, Anway, Mav, but never connect to Hecate or other witchy deities at the same time. For me, I keep my witch side and my fairy side separate, altars on different levels in the home. That's a whole thing, isn't it? There are fairy deities. Interesting that you describe them as witchy deities and fairy deities. Some of them do cross over, don't they? They do work with both areas. But I think fairy craft in itself is a whole commitment. It's not an area that I work with because I understand fully that it is a huge commitment to dedicate yourself to working with fairy, because that's a whole other thing as well. I have actually worked with Anway, not from a fairy point of view, but from a goddess point of view, a few years back now. Fascinating deities. And Hecate is definitely a powerful one. All interesting stuff. Lucky Fairy Queen. I was so almost scared to moving pantheons. I was attracted to Goddess Freya, started working with her, was a bit hesitant to incorporate the Goddess Hecate, but it works out well now. Yeah, I think it is. If these deities make themselves known to you, you can't say, no, sorry, not interested, because they're there for a reason. It is about making sure that everyone's happy, keeping that balance with it. Xenia, relate with you, cringing about the word worship. It is, is it because it has those connotations. I'm going to look up worship now. What does the dictionary say about worship? Worship meaning. Interesting. Okay, so the Oxford Dictionary, meaning of the word worship, the feeling or expression of reverence and adoration for a deity. For example, to worship of the mother goddess. Interesting. Interesting that picks up from the mother goddess rather than the Christian side of it. What does the Cambridge Dictionary say? The Cambridge Dictionary says to have or show a strong feeling of respect and admiration for God or a god. Interesting. That's interesting. That's not as Christian as I thought it was going to be. I think perhaps it's us that's putting that kind of meaning to it. I'm getting a bit confused here. David. It's easy to confuse me at the moment. Used to work with Hearn a lot. The energies were needed. He was there to listen to me and answered questions and showed me how to listen to my nature. Yes, perfect. But recently I hadn't heard from him for quite a while, till the other day, early morning, walking the dog. High on the local hill, I felt him and headed to a small grove of trees at the top where I found 2 chairs sitting facing where the sun would set. That sounds like an ideal spot. So I sat and we caught up. Nice. Hearn, very much nature based, isn't he? Very much forests, trees, animals. Perfect. Xenia, I also like to address Mother Earth, Father Sun, Grandmother Moon, and star siblings sometimes. Nice. That works. That works. Debbie, normally find when troubles darken your door and you've asked for guidance, you'll get an answer or an insight. I tend to see a lot of raptors, corvids, and deer hanging around during unsettled times. That's another connection, isn't it? A lot of deities you'll know they're there because of the animals, because of the birds, because of the animals that you see. They will be represented by those animals because a lot of them do have correspondences, don't they? So Diane's got a friend who's an atheist druid. You don't have to have a religion to work with witchcraft. Witchcraft is a practice, a magical practice. It's paganism that is the faith. Druids, I find, even more so, can be atheist or agnostic or, all different types. It doesn't have to go hand in hand. I find a lot of druids that I've spoken to will work more with Father Sky and Mother Earth rather than specific deities. But, everyone's different. Everyone is different. Good morning, Eve, Dawny. I had Hecate talking in my ear, but I was not sure about what I wanted. Learned about her. I don't work with a deity, but just connect to them. Never have asked anything. It's different ways with it, isn't it? Different ways of working with it, doing it, whatever how you work with it. I don't think there is necessarily a right or wrong way. It has to be personal for you. Debbie, agree. Yes, I think Jesus was a healer. I do think he was, absolutely. Xenia, time ago I felt the same. Didn't get connection to deities, but relationships with spirits like power animals, nature spirits, ancestors, and the universe worked for me. I work with all of the above. I think they're all, for me, it's the web of weird. It is that everything is connected. So when I'm working with a plant spirit, I'm also working with the goddess. When I'm working with my main animal guide, my wild boar, I'm still working with that energy of nature. I'm still working with, ultimately, the goddess in some form. For me, everything is connected. But that's not necessarily the same for everyone. David, on the question of how to connect, people could just talking to them. Yes, reaching out that way is good. Don't worry about being answered. Don't even think about it. And don't be too surprised if someone does answer. I think as well, particularly if you have made a connection. So I can talk to Sulis or Belanos or the Kelach without lighting a candle or going into meditation. The same with my wild boar animal guide. They're there, and I can talk to them without having to do any kind of big ritual or meditation or anything. Perhaps because I have built that relationship with them. So there is that connection. But yes, absolutely. Sometimes they're just there, and you hear an answer. Yeah, definitely. Tina, recently I've called upon my deity and the deity that will listen to help, guide, and support myself and my family as we buried your daughter-in-law 3 days ago. Big old hugs and positive energy to you, Tina. Absolutely. Keeping your family safe. But I think that is, isn't it? It is times of real struggle and strife that it's nice to have someone to call upon. I know I have felt it this week. Someone there, a bigger, higher power to provide support. It is lovely to have that. Jane, you don't have to be a Christian to have Jesus in your contacts list. No, absolutely not. Since my spiritual path broadened out, I don't feel I have to make the choice of Christian or pagan. Call it cherry picking if you like, but it's perfectly possible for pagans and Christians to rub along together. Absolutely. Or any faith, I think, for me. I've known Christian witches, I've known Jewish witches, I've known Hindu witches. We're all in this big old ocean together. We might be in different individual boats, but we're still bobbing along on the same ocean. So for me, absolutely. I'm not Hindu. I don't have Hindu practices, but Ganesha has been a huge support to me over the years. And I am very respectful and honoured that he still chooses to work with me. Yeah, absolutely. I think, I've worked with Mary, fantastically amazing feminine energy, brilliant for calling upon for babies, keeping babies safe, motherhood, childbirth. Yeah, I think for me they all have their place. Xenia, worship feels a bit one-sided for me. Connection and friendship with deity is what I prefer. Yeah, I think I've also heard it called walking with. So the Kelach walks with me, Sulis walks with me, Balanos walks with me, and that works. That feels right. Yes, it is a relationship, definitely. Well, yes, David, good point. Many old witchcraft spells, they called on God, some of them, a lot of them called on the devil, old horny. But yes, a lot of the hoodoo spells call they chant the Psalms or the Lord's Prayer. A lot of witches do work with angels, which do have a Christian kind. They're older than Christianity, but they do have that Christian kind of idea to them. Not an area I've worked with myself, but always open to stuff. It's all energy, isn't it? It is all energy. Does that energy need a face? Does it need a name? Does it need? Let's be honest. Deity appears to us in a form that we will recognize. It's my bugbear. It's my bugbear. Why does the goddess never just rock up in her jeans? Do a search for the goddess, and image-wise, you will get two things. They'll either be dressed in togas or, Greek, Roman type togas, or they will be dressed in medieval Arthurian gear. You very rarely get a picture of a goddess in her jeans and her Frankie Goes to Hollywood t-shirt. But they will appear to us in a format that we will recognize. So the Norse gods will appear in clothing that we recognize as Norse. The Hindu deities will appear in clothing that we recognize as Hindu. Is that because that's how they know that's how we will recognize them? If the god or goddess rocked up and she was a big purple monster with 18 legs and 3 eyes, we wouldn't know it was the goddess. We put that human image on them. We as humans make them look human, I think, and they oblige by appearing to us in a form that we will recognize. Just saying. In actual fact, Sulis is ancient. She is older than Romans, much. She goes back to the Mesolithic period. So ancient. When I see her, she is dressed in Roman garb. That's the period she seems to like. Hey, the Romans built a temple for her. She's very honoured. The image that is from the book cover, Sulis, is much older than that. It's pre-Roman. And very rarely does she come to me in that image. She's usually in the Roman image. But is that me? Is that because she knows I will expect to see her like that? If that makes sense. Just random thoughts. Heather, yes, the definitions are interesting. I always like to look up terms in the dictionary to see what they mean. Emma, in my experience, the Morrigan doesn't like many other deities, if any, that she's unfamiliar with. I think it goes for the, how should we describe them? The stronger, more feisty deities don't tend to play well with others. It is about working out. Heather, like owls. Heather has been being hooted at by owls for a very long time. Finally realised who was trying to get my attention. I'm a slow learner. No, I think we do, don't we? I don't think we think anything of it. And I think particularly if it is an animal that keeps showing up, we think it's the animal. As animists, for us, working with animal spirit guides is second nature. So if an animal keeps appearing, you tend to immediately go to the idea that it's the animal that's trying to get your attention. But quite often it is connected to a deity. It was when you were ready, that was all. Jane, not just witches, people like Ian Lawman on Help My House is Haunted. Haven't seen that one. He's an ordained exorcist and dark arts expert. Sounds like something from Harry Potter. Using the Bible, the Psalms, etc., and calling on the Holy Trinity when rescuing stuck spirits. There's a big crossover. There is, and it works for me, but some clergy would balk at the idea. There is, I think, a big crossover. Let's also remember the Bible was reorganized by the Romans. They decided what went into it. But the Psalms are ancient. The Psalms predate Christianity. Psalms were originally used by sorcerers and magicians to call upon magical beings, to work magic, to manipulate energy. The Psalms are magic, predate Christianity completely. I think there are lots and lots of crossovers. Yeah, definitely. Dawney, you agree with Emma? Also experience. Depending on what it is I need to work with her, she does allow in certain circumstances. In all my time, I maybe worked 4 times with deities. There's no right or wrong here. There isn't any right or wrong here at all. It's very, very personal. Xenia, especially because I also believe that there is a huge creation force that spreads out and gets the colour of the nature and cultures of people of the earth. Because I'm so out of the box, I'm spoiled for every religion that wants me to decide for or against, not just monotheistic ones, by the way. I think that is the wonderful thing, that we all have choice, that we can all choose how we work with their faith, how we manage it all, what we believe, how we believe. I think it's brilliant that we can all do it for whatever suits us. Dawney, at the moment, my support are the angels, and to be honest, that energy is so much different from the deities. Oh, absolutely, because they are different beings, yes. So much more gentle, and to be honest, don't think I would have managed without the support. I'm glad it's worked for you. Absolutely glad it's worked for you. Yeah, definitely different energies for sure. Lucky Fairy, prefer using the words I work with the goddess versus worship. Yeah, it's a thing, isn't it? Xenia, a friend of mine who wrote Jesus Through Pagan Eyes is a C of E priest and Obod druid. Yeah, there are, faith and witchcraft or druidry. There are, it all kind of, you can make it work. You can make it all work. Debbie, regardless of your personal practices, if you are connected, you are connected. Very wise words, Debbie. Very wise words. Zephora. Goddesses like to look good, so they dress to impress. Yeah, I guess there is that. I guess there is that too. I think I see the deities how they think I want to see them, if that makes sense. It does. I think we see them in a way that we will recognize them. Sometimes I see the Morrigan as a crow or a raven, other times in human form. Herne the Hunter sometimes as a deer. I think there's a lot of them that cross over with the animal world, absolutely. Julie, people who claim alien abductions or UFO experiences allegedly see owls, but in unusual circumstances, and not always looking exactly like animal owls we know. I did not know that. There's an interesting fact about owls. I didn't know. Jane, St. Francis spiced up the Psalms and rearranged them in his own way, so they might be worth a look. If you're interested in Psalms and magic, do have a look at Taryn S's book on hoodoo in the Psalms. Fascinating. She did a talk about it as well. It's on the Moonbooks channel, and about working with Psalms for magic, because that's what they originally worked. That's what they're originally written for. It's fascinating. Lucky Fairy Queen. When Freya started working with me, I started seeing dragonflies a lot. Found they are connected to her. Very interesting how the deities make themselves known to us. Yeah, sometimes they have to shout. Sometimes they have to shout very loudly. I think perhaps if we're not expecting a new deity to rock up, or we haven't asked for anything or put the call out there, we don't notice their signs first. Sometimes they really have to shout at us. Yeah. Dragonfly sat on my altar for about an hour. So damn. Dragonflies are amazing. I do have a dragonfly tattoo. Angela, I used to work with Credwin after I had owls literally throwing themselves at me to take notice. Not worked with anyone recently. In fact, my spiritual practice has had a bit of hiatus. But that happens to us all. It does happen to us all. We do all go through different times. So for me, the Kelech is a winter goddess. She is with me from Samhain round to Beltane, really. And then she usually steps back, and she usually pushes me towards another deity to work with over the summer. She hasn't done that this year. I don't know whether it's because Sulis and Balanus are with me anyway. But I have that feeling that there is someone in the wings, but they're just out of reach at the moment. So I'm quite open to the signs at the minute, because I've got a feeling there is someone there. I just don't know who it is at the minute. So I am a bit vigilant. But quite often we don't notice the signs at first. Kerry, sadly, I've never managed to connect to anyone. How do I know if I have and missed the signs? I think you would know. I think you would know if they want to get your attention, they will make sure that they do. But there's no right or wrong here. There is no right or wrong here. It is all about connection, but it might be connection to nature. It might be connection to plant spirits or animal spirits rather than deity. No right or wrong. I think if they wanted to connect with you, they would make you realize in some fashion. Angela, till recently, being poked by the Morrigan at the moment. Not sure I'm to work with her, but she's definitely prodding me into action. Reach out to her and see what she wants you to do. If she's made that kind of connection, do reach out to her. Oh, Heather's put the link to Hoodoo in the Psalms. Thank you. It is a really, really interesting book, particularly if you like the idea of working with Psalms. They are very magical. Kerry, do have strong connection with dogs and jackdaws. Dogs would lead me to Hecate, probably, and jackdaws, actually. Don't know why I should think. Anyone got any thoughts on that? That my initial thought is Hecate for that one, Kerry. Do some research if you kind of think there is a point there. There is a thread. Pull on it and see where it takes you. Look up deities that are connected with dogs and jackdaws and see where it takes you to. Jane. I saw a dragonfly basking on a fence once, so I went up to it, stroked it gently, and it went all soppy. Oh, wow. What a fantastic experience. Christine, I feel for myself that we need to have our third eye to actually get a good vision of deity. Am I wrong? Interesting. Never really thought about it like that. I do think you have to, yes, you have to be open to it. Does everyone actually see deity? That leads me to an interesting question. I feel a presence. I feel an energy. I quite often hear a voice telling me off, usually. Do I see them? Don't look at me like that. Do I see them? No, probably not as often as I think. I feel the presence. I hear them. Don't often actually visibly see them in my mind's eye. Do you need good visualization skills for that? I guess that leads to your third eye as well. Interesting question, Christine. Do we need to see them, or is just feeling their presence perhaps more important is to feel their presence and to hear them? Lucky Fairy Queen. Dogs, very Hecatean. Yes, that was the first one that popped into my head. Diane, dogs could be Anubis. Another interesting one. Lucky Fairy Queen. I was guided to start feeding stray dogs as Hecate came into my life. A lot of literature on her and dogs. Yeah, I might be worth having a look at, Kerry. Jane, the link should appear when we finish up. It takes a while. When you put a link, it takes a while to appear on the screen for some bizarre reason. Feel and hear. Yeah, I think it's more important, isn't it, than actually seeing or seeing in your mind's eye. Feeling and hearing them is far more important. Lucky Fairy Queen. Feel energy mostly. Saw a deity just once in a deep meditation, but not otherwise. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it like that. I think it's definitely more important to feel that energy. Yes, Kerry, definitely do some research into Hecate for sure. Xenia, I see deities before my inner eye and hear them. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? What? Ruby, for any Elvis Presley fans, I read a fascinating book called The Occult Elvis. I had no idea. Did you know I was into the occult?
A little bit,
Yeah. Pete is a very big Elvis fan. Very big Elvis fan. I didn't know there was that connection. Interesting. Oh, that's another good one, Heather. Yes, dogs are associated with Artemis, the hunting dog. Yes, that would make sense too. Diane, we don't all have a really sharp mind's eye. I feel their presence more than see them. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Jane, we have 2 neighbours' cats who come to us for breakfast every day. Is this the influence of Bast? No, I think it's cats being cats. I think that's also important, isn't it? I get this a lot with people asking me about omens and animal omens. Sometimes animals just do what animals do. It's not a sign. It's not an omen. It's just animals being animals. Yeah, I think you're just being conned by the neighbours' cats because they're getting breakfast in various houses. Debbie, I feel a presence. I hear words or singing. They have appeared in dream form in times of need. That's another point, isn't it, as well? Yes, dreams is another good way for them to come through. Yeah, I think it's a case of being open, being open to whoever comes your way, doing your research, reading the stories, reading the myths, learning about them, looking into the culture, looking into the foods, looking into all sorts of areas. Kerry, could you recommend a good book on Hecate so I can research it, please? I am going to push Moon Books, just because I work for them. But there are a couple of Hecate books over on the Moon Books website, so they are good ones as well. So have a look over there. If you type in Hecate, I think it might be Hecate with a K over there. Cindy Brannan, thank you, Diane. Yes, she's one of the ones that's written Keeping Her Keys. Cindy Brannan is a good one. She's written about Hecate. Vivian Moss has written a book about Hecate as well from her devotional point of view, but I think it's with a K on both of those. So yeah, be open to what comes your way. Emma, tend to feel and see. Could be that my mind has forgotten what sounds sound like due to loss of hearing. Interesting thought, Emma, interesting thought. But I think, again, the deities will make themselves known to you in a way that you will recognize, in a way that works for you. Be open. David, feel them more than see them. I have seen them. When I was a small child, I used to see the Kalach sitting in the darkest part of my bedroom when I was going to sleep. That's terrifying. She used to tell me of things that would happen. She used to terrify me as I didn't understand, had no one to talk to. Then I'd fall asleep in the arms of a queen dressed in blue and white. Nice. Thank you, Heather. Heather's doing the links today. That's brilliant. Thank you. Yes, 'tis Hecate with a K. Yeah. Jane, I'm always dreaming of toilets, plumbing and washing facilities. Could this be Sulis reaching out? Not sure. My instinct would be more about cleansing. Something needs cleansing, something needs clearing out. But it's what it means to you. Ask her is the answer. Ask her. Thank you. Temple of Bones. That's the other Hecate book. Yes, very good. Summer Solstice, Workshop and Ritual, Saturday, 5th of July, 6 till 8. There's a link over on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook page. Do pop and have a look. Keep an eye on our events. Summer's always busy with all sorts of things. We are at Green Oaks in June. If anybody is in the Cambridge area, do have a look at that. Lots going on as usual. Keep an eye out on the events page. But yeah, deity, connection, be open to it, see what happens. Always be respectful. And there you go. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. We will be back next week as usual. Do keep an eye out for a very special Friday morning event later on in June. Details of that coming soon. I will not be we're not at Pagan Tribal this year, Kerry, because of little grandbaby. Because she was due that weekend. Even though she decided to come much earlier. But we will be at Green Oaks. But out and about, take care, everyone. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all again next time.